Good evening, everyone. It's the 19th of January, and United have lost 3-1 to Brighton for the third time in a row at home at Old Trafford. To Brighton, a team that I don't like. Mr. B, how are you?
I was a lot better before the game bath time, but I feel a lot better now that I've had time to I'm not even calmed down, to be fair. I expected it to be really messy. And I don't think it's failed to deliver at the moment bath time. I just think I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better. But I'm calm. I'm calm with it. I expect it to be a lot more mad, but I'm calm with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got two of the most combustible people on tonight with me. So, Dora, how are you?
I had better days, but yeah, today's game didn't help it. Honestly, I my day started very well, but then I watched the game, and I wouldn't say my day is ruined because I'm over that period of my life where football is, impacting my life, very much. I'm over that. I'm matured, but it hurts watching this team, losing at home, especially after the tribute to Dennis Law, who is, an absolute
Oh,
legend of the game
mm,
and Manchester United, and they couldn't even deliver 3 points against mighty Brighton Hove Albion. So, yeah, I think that is the biggest, my biggest, how do you say it? uh, the biggest thing about this defeat is that they couldn't even do that. They couldn't deliver that, and they didn't do it against City when Bobby Charlton died. They didn't do it now, and it's quite disappointing. BT, it really is.
yeah. All right, we'll do some quick comments, and then we'll get stuck into a few things. We got the godfather of the United agenda, Solo. He lets you know the way he sits in that chair. He's saying another disappointing performance. Stick with the manager, blame the board, and Ratcliffe. Got We Deserve Better, who is talking about Amarin's comments, which we will have to address
Hmm?
at one point. But you can get the flavour that We Deserve Better thinks that they're petulant and boorish. Got a lot of drivel, and then we get to Bilal. What a brilliant team we support. Who are Titanian FC, Bilal? I remember you changed your name to I Am Titanium at one point, so God knows where this is going. Kidden, one shot on target, the penalty. We're a joke. Oh, God. I got Simon Warner. Greetings to you all. Greetings to you. We've got Matty Bassett. Here we go. We got a jollier. We deserve better here. Yeah. Okay. Look, everyone. We know what like Amarin has said, and we
No.
will sort of get to it, but we want to slaughter the players first before we talk about the manager and his comments. Yeah, but honestly, we're very very unhappy. So please toe the line tonight, because I don't want to have to ban you. Can we just play our games away from home? Simples. It's a meerkat. Uh, the next match was again. This match, yeah, I know, and also Bilal. I think you're from Manchester, so you know what's coming on Thursday. Like, prepare yourself. It's Glasgow Rangers are coming to town,
Oh, it's
and
gonna
the
be a
last
mess again, isn't it?
oh god, the last time they came was unreal. The print works got shut down. It was absolutely crazy. Um, all right, let's um, let's talk a little bit about the game, and let's be honest. Where does this rank in terms of like appalling performances? Are we thinking like it's up there with the 7-0 against Liverpool, the 6-3 against City?
Four
Like,
one against Watford.
yeah,
Um, I would have to rewatch those games. Every the worst game's always
don't.
the worst game's always the freshest one bath time. So to me, this is my memory. My memory is not very long anyway. So yeah, I would say this is the worst game. But then we probably had worse this season or worse last season under Ten Hag. I think this is the worst under Amarin. I think this could be the worst under Amarin. Um, I I don't get it. Brighton have been kicking our ass for 3 years, so it's a game that they should have maybe been able to raise themselves for. Yeah, I understand it's not Arsenal, name brand, not Liverpool, not Man City, but they've been giving us licks for 3 years, so you would have thought that they would have stepped up their game.
Yeah, I mean, it's like before today they'd won 1 game in 10, Brighton, and I mean, Dora, what you saw on the pitch, was there anything that Manchester United weren't second best to? Anything?
Uh, I'm trying to think about it because I mean we were overrun in the midfield. The defense was shaky. The attack wasn't working. So where? I think in defense support, I would say because fans go every weekend. They show their support. If you ask me, is this the worst defeat? I think it's on par with the one against City 3-0 after the Bobby Charlton tribute. It was an awful game, appalling game, cowardly game, and I believe this one is as well. Uh, I mean, we'll talk about it further, but I mean, I think this squad of players, they are maybe good on the paper, but they together don't work, and you could clearly see that years and years of poor recruitment are now coming to the head because who do you so for example one player doesn't work there, who do you put in instead of him? We don't have a squad depth. We have charlatans, poor recruits. We have poor players, simply poor players without any fundamentals. Like he's putting Hoylund after in the 80th minute. I don't expect him to score a goal. I expect him to build up his fitness with running around like a headless chicken. He puts in what's his name, Garnacho. He puts him. What does he do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's just there. He's just running around like a headless chicken as well. So you have a squad of players, group of players on paper who are maybe good, or maybe will be good somewhere, and they just don't work together. Is it Amarin's fault? Is it club's fault? Who knows? Everyone is at fault. Everyone is at fault because I think this is it. It just I think it's a peak point of United being absolutely appalling in the last 10 years. Poor recruitment, poor decisions, and yeah, it's going to. I agree with Mr. B. It's going to get worse until it gets good, but how many years is it going to take? How many times or years the fans are going to sit here and or pay £66 for a game to go and watch that dross that happened today? How long are they going to take? So that's my question for you guys in the chat as well, and for you to think about it. But because it's I mean, I wouldn't, honestly, I wouldn't. For the first time ever, like, I went through the 7-0 defeat throughout the full 90 something minutes. Today I turned off the game at 80th minute. I couldn't watch, and it says a lot because I can take it. I can take a lot, but today it was a tipping point for me. Like, I couldn't watch that Ross because I knew that we wouldn't do anything. So yeah.
All right. Do we all agree that Ahmad was the only sort of acceptable performance today?
Yeah, totally agree.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But
Right,
what would you have given him as a mark? Just so we've got a benchmark of what we're going to be giving the rest of them.
I think because of his tracking back against one of their players, I think it was Matoma, I'd probably give him a 6. Like, so just like average plus.
Jesus. Okay.
I think one of the things that I'm interested in is the performance of Joshua Zirkzee, because we've all kind of got we're allergic to Hoyland on this channel at the moment. Like, anyone with blonde hair in that team, I feel allergic to. But I thought that Zirkzee was okay, and obviously he's part of the issue for the first goal. There's no getting around it. He does not put enough pressure on the ball. But I think that might actually be a sort of structural thing and a fitness thing, because we saw that for the penalty, he was quite instrumental in the press that led to Ahmad getting the ball and then the penalty and so on. So are we letting Xerxes off today and putting him with Ahmad?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I agree. I think he even created for some other players, but they couldn't deliver in the end, as usual with this
So
team.
what was he? What was he? Half a mark less than Ahmad? Because I would have given Ahmad a 7, Xerxes a 6, and then I can mark the rest of them. If you're going 6 and then Xerxes 5, then we're looking at minus scores. To be fair,
For me, I am absolutely sick to death of Ugarte and his positioning. I cannot tell you how much it winds me up. The absolute lack of fundamentals on being goal side of players. Like even on the first goal, he lets Welbeck drift in behind him, and that means that De Ligt has to step up. And
are you blaming? Is the first goal? Is that the long ball that went over Mazraoui's head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going to blame who for that?
Ugarte. I blame him for the second one as well, for doing exactly the same thing.
Sorry, bath time. You're going to have to run that by me, because
It's not all on him. Okay. Right.
But there's a lot more players at fault more than Ugarte for that goal.
No. I'll tell you. Listen. Right. I'll tell you I'll tell you what I think the problem is there. First of all, there's no pressure on the ball from Xerxes. Okay. That means when there's no pressure on the ball, your defence has to drop. Do you agree?
Yeah, go on.
Right? What happens is that because we play a 2 in midfield, which I hate, like Ugarte and Kobe have got men in behind them. They need to take a step back and get goal side of their men, just as a basic, because there's no pressure on the ball. Because they don't do that, Yoro and De Ligt step up. Maguire is dropping back because he's a more experienced defender and understands that the ball is going to be coming over the top. Mazraoui and Dalot have got far too wide. They've got to stay compact and then get out to their men. The ball comes over the top, and like Maguire's not fast enough. Mazraoui's not fast enough. Yoro can't recover in time. Dalot, I'm not sure what Dalot is doing, to be honest, but I suspect he might make the right decision. But those are all the issues. And the one thing that constantly happens in midfield is that those two boys, Ugarte and Kobe, don't get goal side when they need to. And there's only 2 of them. I see it as a massive issue.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. Xerxes maybe. I'm not blaming any of the 2 central midfielders. I'm blaming Mazraoui for ball watching, and I'm blaming, you talked about Maguire dropping back because he knew he's got no pace. Well, he didn't drop back fucking far enough, did he? Because he was still nowhere near the ball. I understand it's an opinion based thing here, and you're pinpointing Ugarte and Mainu, but brother, I'm not having that one. I'm not having that one, bath time.
That's all right. A lot of people here are not having it either. Dora, give us your take.
I mean, at first I felt like, once again the players are ball watching. I agree actually with both of you. I think both can be correct. I think those decisions or those things cannot happen if the team is organized, and the organization fell apart from the moment their center back sent that ball over the top. Like, you need to first of all, okay, I haven't paid that much attention to the central midfielders. That's why maybe people don't agree with you. Maybe they did, did what they did. They're not, but like if you watch all the games with these 2, when we concede in those games. This is why we are getting, Ugarte and Kobe don't work in that midfield. We can all, you can all, argue and say you're talking nonsense. We don't have to agree. I
But
believe
then
that they
who do
don't
we
work.
play? But then who do we play? All right, then
I
those
don't
aren't
know,
that's not
Mr.
the best,
B.
right? And this is the point.
But there needs to be a better. Try Collier. Collier runs more than Kobe or Ugarte. Maybe he will understand his tasks better than Manuel Ugarte, because it doesn't work, Mr. B. That's why I said we don't have a squad depth. We need to. Amorin, as a manager, needs to find a solution, and currently these two don't work. And obviously, the defense doesn't work. We are having
Our goalie
discussions.
doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, but nothing works. But we are having discussions. Who is the best? Like from the beginning of the season, from the moment Amorim stepped in, who are the best wing backs? Most of the fan base will say it's what's his face, Dalot and Mazarui. We started both of them today. Who is our best centre back trio? It's Delict, it's Yoro, it's Maguire. We started them today, and they conceded 3 goals. So what is the solution? We don't have a squad depth, and Amorim needs to think about it and tinker around the squad. But but once again, Mazrui is ball watching. He should know better. He is at fault as well in the second goal, which we will talk about. He's ball watching. The centre backs are, they were pulled away from their positions. They left their runners. They couldn't recover, and it was a goal. Once again, it was a goal. So it's always 1, 2, 3 passes where the opposing teams are just tearing us apart, and it's always the same with United, especially since that is happening for 2-3 seasons already. Like 2-3 passes, United defense is in shambles. That cannot happen, and Amorim needs to tinker with his team. What do you mean?
Because I think that the fact it happened in the 3rd minute, and I saw it I saw it happening all game. The widening of the channel, the area between the centre back and the full back. I've seen teams like Newcastle were focusing on this as well. I think that there is a specific plan to target us in an area, which suggests to me that it's kind of a system error, because no one's going to be happy with, for example, Kobe, Ugarte, Delict, and all these things, but there's not enough men in the middle of the park. There's not when you have a 2, no one can go with that runner. No one can drop in behind and pick up a Welbeck or the other one, João Pedro, or whatever. I'm really concerned about this system. Because when you think about was it Tommy Tuchel who played a 3-4-3?
Yeah.
The man had Kante, who's one of the greatest midfielders that we've seen in the last 10-15 years in the Premier League. He's an absolute freak of a player, with the ability to sort of cover distances and so on. I know that Ugarte and Kobe are not good enough to cover the distances, and I know our team isn't techie enough to be able to keep the ball and work their way slowly up the pitch. But actually, I've got to do the comments. I'm sorry, you can come back to me on that after I've been through this. Right, V is saying he thought Xerxes did well today. Yale is starting the bidding at 10 million for Hoyland. Well, I mean, Yoro did play, Simon. Yoro at left centre back, I felt was actually a really big issue with his passing. He didn't have a great game. I felt he was a little bit lucky to stay on the pitch at the end. I thought he was going to be sent off when he was putting head against that guy. Tyrone with his very funny picture to me is saying that Xerxes and Ahmad did well. Xerxes held the ball brilliantly, I felt at times, but that might just be because we're just used to Rasmus Højlund. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, but I'm just doing the comments. I'm gonna tell you the mood is in the floor tonight. But I've got in trouble because I said I thought Maguire defended quite well on the first goal.
I,
How much did we
you
miss
nodded.
Bleacher
Are
today?
you nodding? Anyway, look, we'll wait. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
We'll come
I'll
back
let
to
you
it.
finish.
All right.
Hello?
BT, hello.
What's he done?
What is that? Am I frozen or is he frozen? Who is frozen?
I tell you what, we'll hopefully you'll I don't know what's happened there. Hopefully you'll come back. I'll get through these starred messages anyway. Where were we? Amarin. Energy should get higher than at the range. What the fuck? That's question. All right. No. Amarin could no. We were expecting that.
This is intermission, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
Dun,
Then I think
dun.
maybe Bath Time's falling off his chair. And when he's gone as well. Maybe he really has then. All right. Geordie, Dread, thank you very much, man. This guy's funny as well. Newcastle supporter in it, Yabba. He's on he's funny. He's funny.
Welcome.
He's a lot more like, he looks a lot more like you, but his life is a lot more like mine, I think, to be fair.
Who's the other Newcastle fan? The black guy. What's his name? You know, he's a real Geordie. He's got a real Geordie accent.
I have no idea. This one's from Tottenham.
Oh, so there's a Geordie fan, isn't there? A big Geordie fan that we know. I can't even remember his name now.
Anyway, look, sorry. Let's get on with this. So Stephanie Griffiths is saying Agati agenda time. Listen, never said, you know, it's like everybody has their favorite. Some people are blinded by certain issues, and I can't agree with you, BT. Bilal doesn't agree with you there. He was basically blamed for the first goal. You came in at the right time. He was blaming Agate and Manu for the first goal. For the first goal. So you're coming in with Euro. You've got nothing to say about Mazraoui.
With the long ball over the top.
Yeah, the ball over the top.
Yeah. There's nothing to do with Maguire. Nothing to do with Maguire. Anyway.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about it. This is the thing.
No. Listen, look, Maguire could fly and kick a man in his head, and you're going to defend him. So, I listen. My thing is, I thought it was Mazraoui's fault. I feel that he ball watched. Maguire is not quick enough, so that's got nothing to do with him. It's just Lord blessed him with zero pace.
Do you want me?
Of course. I know you're going to dissect it, but let me finish with these messages first. We saw the one about 10 million for Hoyland, didn't we?
Yeah.
Collier should definitely be starting ahead of Kobe for me. Defensively, Kobe is piss poor. That's from Tyrone.
Yeah, John Sinclair. That's the guy.
John Sinclair. Oh no,
Geordie,
that's
Geordie
definitely
guy. Yeah.
Okay. Collier challenges and tackles well and runs. Manu was far higher past the halfway line. I think this is when we were discussing
He's
the goal.
Absolutely right. We deserve better. Yeah, that's actually true.
And what's the other one here? Jesus Christ, this laptop. Andrew is saying we aren't good enough to play two in midfield. Let's get another couple of these messages down before you dissect it. Stoney, Dora has a valid point. The midfield combination does not work and places most of the pressure on the defense.
Thank you, Stoney. Look at Yava. He's like, but everyone can agree with you.
Maguire, our best defender. Ha ha ha.
Oh, you're laughing. Okay.
Oh, here we go. We deserve better. I'm sick and tired of three at the back. We are leakier than United's dressing room. Obviously, that he's had enough of that back three combination. One clean sheet, three at the back. It's a shambles.
I mean, it kind of is, yeah.
Sigmund is saying, I feel utterly depressed at this point. Gone are the day. Game days are ruining my days. I should be used to it by now, but I don't want to get used to it. See it. and I want there to be repercussions for the Glazers. No chance, mate. You're getting a little big up here from Steph Yabba.
Big up, Stephanie Griffiths.
Yeah, BT is had enough. I'm not sure what happened there. I actually hope he's all right. To be fair, I thought he would have been back on by now. But look, touch with everything's all right. Right, Yabba. There you go.
Yeah, John Sinclair, that's the guy.
There you go. Right on cue. He's sorry, bath time. Sorry,
What's
BT.
up?
You're
No,
PC crash,
you.
right?
Just don't ask us what's up. We're asking what's up with you. You okay?
My internet goes down about as well as an armor.
Yeah. Come, this your reflection of the goal before we kind of go and drift onto the.
Keep in mind, I watched the game live, and I was just, I haven't seen any sort of replays or anything. But for the first goal, for example, I thought Harry Maguire played well in the whole game. I thought Harry Maguire was the only guy out there that I could say, yeah, doing the basics, things that we miss. He just does the standard, defending properly, winning headers, passing's good, reading the game good. So the first goal, the ball was played. There was no pressure on the centre back. They played a long ball over the top. What's the name? The Japanese dude's quick. He got away. Can't really blame Maz. Maz is quicker too, but you got to be aware of these situations, and especially when you got time and space. So their defenders got the ball. You need to be put yourself in a position where if the guy wants to pump it over the top, you're ready for that. Where's the insurance? So granted, it was a great touch by the guy to get in, and he could have shot himself, but he squared it. The reason he squared it is because our back three is like that. One of our back three, they're playing Welbeck and Pedro. One of them was on sitting on defenders. The other guy, Pedro, I think it was drifting off, and Yoro, I think, was assigned, or he seemed to think, I'm going to get dragged out. And he got mugged off, going too far out of his block to look after Pedro. And then when the ball came over, he didn't have enough pace to get back, and Pedro, the guy scored because Yoro wasn't in the right position. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think what you need to do in that situation is stay in your free. Don't get dragged out of position, okay? Because they were in the mid block when this ball got played over. Don't get dragged out. Try and compress the play as much as you can, but make sure you don't get dragged out so you're lacking that pace to get back and they can just square it and score like that. Because that was his position, that was his zone. He should have covered. Nothing to do with Maguire. More to do with Yoro.
So who was the left side? Who was the left-sided defender?
Yoro.
And he's supposed to run past Maguire to cover Maguire's zone.
The
yeah.
Starting position. Like I'm saying, there's three centre backs. You got Yoro on the left-hand side.
Right. And the ball is crossed from the left.
Yeah.
The ball's crossed from the left.
Hold on.
Go on.
Yeah. So there's three centre backs. Okay. One of them is Yoro on the left-hand side. He got dragged out of his block. Okay. Keep that block. He got dragged out of his block to go and look after Pedro. Okay. Pedro mugged him off there. So when the balls got played over the other side to Mitoma and they were breaking through, he's couldn't gain the ground to get back into position to stop the ball that got squared over to the guy to slot it into an empty net. That's my issue.
But why would he be cutting the ball out when he's the so what's Maguire supposed to be doing? Standing up there like a lollipop man, waving instructions?
Maguire got back in shape. It's just the ball got.
He didn't get back in shape, bro. Man ran straight past him. Did he how slow he was?
He didn't get ran straight past too. The ball went over the left-hand side.
The ball went down the left. The ball was crossed, and Maguire started running long before everybody else, and he still didn't get there.
What? So what are you saying? So the ball went across Maguire. Maguire wasn't there.
You're blaming Yoro, and it's not Yoro's side.
So wait, if the ball goes across, if he squares the ball past Maguire and into the guy where the guy is in space to score, a free man, Maguire's looking. It should be Yoro there. If it's not Yoro, it's their player. What's that got to do with Maguire? Okay. This Maguire agenda is getting ridiculous now, man. Can't just blame him out.
To be fair, Yabba, he's the senior centre back, and in my opinion, the reason that Yoro and Delict are so wildly out of position is because our midfield aren't goal side. But I think that Maguire, surely Yoro takes cues from him. He should be able to communicate. Don't go.
So
that would be mine.
What's this got to do with Maguire? Why, if you say don't go,
Why? Because he organises the back
you've
three.
got midfield, you've got a defensive shape, 3 centre backs. One guy, and it kept happening throughout the game, was assigned by the manager, whoever it was, to say, one of you, when Pedro was taking a mickey, he went over to Euro, dragging Euro out of position, so there's space for them to run through. Then he was coming over to Delit, dragging Delit out of position for them to open up spaces. That's what they were doing all game. One of the centre-back threes, we talk about, because this is the manager, because the manager only a few weeks ago said, we need to push up, get into them, and get man-to-man higher up the pitch so we can be competitive. Against Southampton, he said that as well. And this is what we're trying to do. So we go man-to-man or jump a man so we can get onto the next guy to stop them from having players there free between the lines. This is what we're trying to do for the manager's instructions. The fact is that we couldn't do it properly. That's how we got exploited. Simple as that.
Yeah, but this, as I said, I think that Maguire as an individual defended that quite well, because he had to. I mean, in the first half, there was another moment where he did something very, very similar, where Yoro went in and overcommitted, and Maguire dropped back, managed to delay the attack, and I think it might have been Delo who blocked a shot that would go in, and somehow De Ligt managed to injure himself on it. But what I'm saying is that the responsibility I would give to Maguire there is he is the senior centre back and he is the leader. And when Yoro went, he should have enforced De Ligt not to go, because De Ligt goes. And I think if you agree that he's a senior centre back, he's the central one, he can see all the play in front of him, he's got all this experience, that I think right there he should have communicated to his centre backs, there's no pressure on the ball, we have to drop. That would be where I think that he could improve, in that situation.
That's a minor thing compared to these guys, what they've actually done. I don't know if De Ligt was pushing forward or not. I doubt it.
Yeah, De Ligt went.
Did De Ligt go forward as well?
Yeah, that's as they played the ball. It was almost like a cue, because Ugarte isn't goal side of his man. De Ligt runs out. You know what De Ligt is like. Yeah. He doesn't think, he just goes. And when he goes, the ball gets played over the top. So everyone is talking about the lack of pace from Maguire, Delo not being there, Yoro out of position, Mazraoui. None of you are talking about De Ligt on that, because he's on the halfway line basically when that ball gets played. I just for me, I consider it like a kind of system error, and what I think has to improve is the communication from the players, because you're saying the manager wants this and that, but as a footballer you have to sort of solve and react to what's going on the pitch, and they'll say I want attacking football and things. There's 5 minutes to go before half time. Just sit in your position, just sit in and stuff like that. That's the choice a player can make. And for me, someone's got to get hold of that back line and stop De Ligt charging out, him in particular. Yoro.
My thing with that, you're making sense, but my thing is that no one's talking about Xerxes. Everyone, I know, and I was expecting everyone to say, Xerxes didn't close down. He didn't close down the centre back. He had time to play that ball or that kind of thing. But if Xerxes is not available to do that, we should still say, all right, no one's putting pressure on the centre back. Let's not push on to these guys.
Exactly. You got to drop.
Yeah, that's the whole point. So for them to do that when Xerxes, you got to read the game. So you're blaming Maguire to say to Yoro, don't.
I'm not blaming Maguire.
No, I'm not saying you. But if we're saying that Maguire should communicate to Yoro not to go, Yoro should know himself, right? Let me read. It's not just focused on that guy blinking.
He's 19.
I got to read the whole game. I can see everything here. Let me make sure them centre backs got the ball. Let me make sure we got a good block here. That any ball played over the top, I'm in position to sweep up any kind of mess. That goal could easily have been cut out if we were in shape. We were just disfigured because we decided to say, right, we need to get man to man, go with that man, and stop them from playing out. But suddenly they pinged the ball over the top, and we were all over the place.
Yeah, this is my point, Yabba, is that I think that Maguire is our best central defender, and a lot of time when I look at how you defend stuff, I take Maguire as a reference, because unlike everyone else, it's just me and you that think he's a really top centre back. But What I think he can do better in that situation is look after the 19-year-old to his left and talk him through the game. And also, I think De Ligt is a player that is in desperate need of someone to tell him like the basics of defending, because he's just too out of control, like the way he goes and stuff. And ironically, if Martinez had been playing instead of Yoro, I think we might have been all right there, because there's no way Martinez is going that far up the pitch in that.
But this is the thing. This is why I say it's a system thing. Because if you look at the recent games, Martinez has been pushing on, coming into midfield and trying to close down man, and being
not in that situation. Not with no pressure on the ball.
He has. Well, he's been doing it. It seems to be.
Yeah, but with pressure on the ball.
One of the back three has to come into midfield. You asked a question on a previous show, not this show, on another channel, Cammy's channel. You asked a question about how do you play in a two? How do you solve that situation? And one of the solutions was that centre back comes into the midfield to help out with the numbers. And this is what we seem to be doing. We compress the play and get man to man like that. You can easily turn over the ball and stop them from playing out. So I think that's the ideal of what we're trying to do. But maybe we need to be a bit more mindful about the centre back, especially centre back, breaking that system, breaking that block, and pushing into midfield like that, because that's how you get caught out. That was a prime example today. Well done to Brighton. That was a really good goal.
They can do one. Right, let's talk about the second goal. Dora.
Let me remember it.
It's Mitoma at the back post.
Oh God. Ew.
Ew.
Well, yeah, it's once again, I mean, in that moment in time, I'm not sure how they get to the ball. Did we lose the ball in the middle of the pitch?
Ugarte wasn't goal side. Is how that happened.
And then
maybe he wasn't for that one.
Yeah, it felt like there were a lot of players sitting in a small space, just there being there. They just ball watched. In my opinion, they were supposed to watch their players and mark them, but no, they ball watched all the time. Yoro and Dalot couldn't close out their winger or a fullback, not sure. Their player, I mean, great cross to the other post. But once again, Mazraoui asleep, Andre Onana asleep. I think Andre Onana is one of the most, volatile players I have ever seen. Probably the worst worst goalkeeper I've seen in my. He has since he came in, he has more he has made 20 mistakes, which directly led to the goal. And this one is once again.
It's 10.
This was awful. In my opinion, he should have stepped up, not ball watch, but react and step up and take that ball from the air, because it's inexcusable that an opposing player comes to the 2-meter box of the goalkeeper just being there. Of course, Mazraoui, awful defending, ball watching, not strong enough to keep it out of the way, but Andre Onana needs to make one step of his line and catch that ball. And this has been my problem with Andre Onana, who you could see that, the club or Ten Hag or whoever, they identified him as this, very vocal guy, very, very good with leadership in his box, blah, blah, blah. But I think that's just a myth, in my opinion. I think that's just a picture that he wants to play paint amongst the fans, because when it comes to game, he doesn't command his 2-meter box. He doesn't command his 2-meter box at all. And I don't want to even think about the whole penalty area. He doesn't do it. And to me, as a professional footballer who is almost 30, by the way, he's not young, like, for example, someone like Bindir or David De Gea when he came in and, made those mistakes in 2012. He is a senior player, very experienced, play in insane tournaments in his lifetime, elite level of football, and he makes those rookie mistakes. And honestly, and what's worse, this isn't the worst thing that he did this game. This isn't the worst thing that he did this game. And I'm honestly sick and tired of it. Okay, cool. Last week, he made those amazing saves. 2 double saves against Southampton. Amazing. But, those kinds of goalkeepers, in my opinion, they should be on the bench, and consistent, great goalkeepers that are secure, like, even Alison Becker has sometimes, poor, instances during the games, but mostly he's okay. He has 15 games where he doesn't make a mistake. This guy has a mistake every second game since he came to the club, and it's getting ridiculous because when you have our defense isn't great, our midfield isn't great, but that goalkeeper is absolutely horrendous. I don't know what is happening in his head. Is he drunk? He started the season very well. All of a sudden, his form fell. Threw itself out of the window. Like, I don't know what happens. Is that not even I think the game before the Liverpool game, he started making mistakes again. What is happening to me? I don't know. But we should consider looking for another goalkeeper if he won't, compete. Get Binder in. I can tolerate him because he's a second apron goalkeeper. And if he doesn't work, look for the other one in the summer because this is awful. This is absolutely horrendous.
Is he a worse signing than Anthony?
No,
Oh my god!
he isn't. He didn't cost 100 million euros. Come on, that's a stupid question. Next. Just kidding.
Right, it's okay, Donna. Mr. B, talk to me about the second goal. What do you think went wrong?
I'm bath time. I don't remember the second goal. I'm going to be honest. I'm listening to you lot talk. I was trying to find the video on my phone so that I could talk. I don't remember the second goal. I do not remember
It's
the second goal.
Mitoma, that little fella, basically gets his foot in front of Mazraoui from maybe a yard out, and Mazraoui nuts himself against the post.
It was a good cross. I remember thinking it was a good cross. I'm not sure Mazraoui could have done much defending against it just because of where the ball went. And because it went this way. Yes, I do remember it now.
So no blame on Mazraoui for that.
I mean, he was chasing him back. You blamed her.
I'm Ty from Arsenal Fan TV. It's the weather. It was very humid today. Just kidding. Go on.
No, I don't know who to blame for that, if I'm honest. I thought Mazraoui. I mean, look, they were both brave, to be fair. I know a lot of people who knows they're going to lick a post and probably wouldn't have gone in for it. I'm not sure who was to blame. I know it was a great ball because there's no way that the goalie could have come out for it.
Yeah.
I do remember thinking, bloody hell, what a great ball.
I've got to disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think the goalkeeper can. Just think about where it scored from. It's in his 6-yard box.
It was very close to the goal. 2 meters from him, Mr. B.
Am I wrong in thinking
you don't think he's Stretch Armstrong?
Exactly.
No,
he doesn't have to be a Stretch Armstrong.
You're acting like he's Neil Armstrong and he's out on the moon. It's in his it's 2 yards.
That
man.
one.
Bounded over to the back post.
Yeah. One giant.
That's a large step for mankind. Yeah. One small step for mankind. Yeah, go on.
I was going to ask Yabba. Yoro Maguire gets sucked over. The ball's across from the half space. De Ligt is central. Mazraoui's at the back post. I mean, for me, I can't lie. I don't know a lot about goalkeeping, but if it's in his 6-yard,
Yabba doesn't either. Don't talk to me about.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
that's a scar. Goalkeeper scar. Look.
All right. Well, I personally think that our kind of defensive cover, our zonal cover, is okay in that situation. I'm interested in the body shape of Mazraoui to defend the cross. If you think that Onana can get the cross, and if we needed to put more pressure on the man that was crossing.
So I don't know how the man got to make his cross in the first place. I can't go back that far. I haven't, like I said, I've been out. Haven't seen how we got the guy to get a crossing like that. But the cross was brilliant. It went into that corridor of uncertainty where the defenders, if they do get touched in it, it could score an own goal. When I've looked at the replay in slow motion, I think the goalkeeper, you say to yourself, anything in the 6-yard box, goalkeeper, it's your house. You clear everything. but because it's come over from that direction, he's of the players over there, goalkeeper's facing that way, and he's protecting the near post, and suddenly the ball's come over to the far post in that corridor of uncertainty where he can't really get out there. He has to rely on the back post defender. Now, my issue with Maz there, I think it's such a great ball, such a difficult ball to deal with. I think what you need to do is be in front of the man, so you don't let the man get in front of you to pinch that. So for somehow he's ended up at the back post, the ball's come over. I felt he could have dived to head it away. That's the only way you're going to deal with that ball, is to head it away. It's coming that way, head it away somehow, because you try to kick it or get a fluff, you're going to fluff it and it's going to go into the back of the net. It was such a tough ball. So I'm not too critical about Maz there. He's a guy who's played right back. He's now in a situation where he's playing number 10, he's playing midfield, he's playing wing back, he's playing all different positions, and he had to be switched on. And Matoma done really well there. It's a great ball. It's a great instinct finish there from Matoma to get in front of the guy and really go for it. I just feel that if you're going to be really critical, Maz should have read it, seen it coming across, said elbows out, so no one come in front of me, elbows out like that, and get in front of the ball and head it as much as you can away from goal. Any other kick would have been suitable. You've got to head that. It's coming over at an angle, get down low like a diving header. Why with your elbows like that to clear
chest
the space and get things out of there? Otherwise, I've got no fault for that.
For me, right, I just think like Mitoma's, he's a pretty player and stuff, but I just don't associate with him with the power to be able to move your fullback out of the way and get your toe across. Like, my initial thought is that like Mazraoui expects Onana, because Onana makes a move to come out, and I think Mazraoui switches off, and then that stop start, and Mitoma, like any good player, is expecting a mistake. But I also want to make it clear that I think having a two-man midfield is a big part of the issue here, because they just like Ugarte dives in, and there's no one there to cover. Like I just don't get it.
Do you think Collier and Ugarte would be a better combination in midfield? Because I'm wondering if it's just a combination of midfielders that we have. Going back to what Dora said, I was on the wind-up Dora earlier on, to be fair. Do you think it's a midfield combination issue, or do you think we just physically cannot play it?
I think right that if we're going to play a two, I think Ugarte and Collier are probably better suited, because I like Kobe Mainu, but he's not a two player, because what he's good at are carries, are like jinking his man, like doing something in the final third, and all these things are not what you need, in my opinion. And I don't know this very well from midfield too. And I think Ugarte as well is an issue, because he likes to carry the ball over switching it, and his switch passes are not particularly good. Collier is a big boy who plays simple passes. He doesn't get the ball forward quickly enough for my liking, but he is like at the start of his career, so you can't have everything. I think that like the issue with Kobe is that we're not getting the best out of him in that position, and he lacks like the ability to recover space. The issue with Ugarte is that his positioning is criminal in what he does. He's got to learn to be more disciplined in staying goal side, and all these things, because he really... Do you remember how I disliked Lisandro Martinez when everyone liked him? Because I said, I don't think he's doing the basics of defending, and he's getting away with it. I've said that about Ugarte before, and I think today it was proven that you can't rely on getting your foot in front of a man and doing like blindside tackles and stuff. You've got to stick to the basics of midfield play, and that is staying goal side until you're in a position to challenge. So I think personally, I think Collier and Bruno Fernandes might be the two best to play in that position.
So what the two? So the two that aren't playing are the two best to play in that position. Oh,
just simply because I think they're the best at recovering space.
I can't. I'm not having that. I'm not having Bruno as a bloody 8 now.
Would you prefer him as an 8 to Kobe?
I'll prefer Bruno didn't play. If I'm honest, I think he's just taking a space. I just think he wastes the ball too much. Look, it's just I'm in one of those moods today. I'm in one of those moods today, bath time.
I tell you what I thought was really weird about Bruno today is the guy is never in like control of his emotions, and yet he is the coldest penalty taker we've had since Rude. I really don't understand it.
Maybe that's just his release.
He took his time today, didn't he, with that penalty? He really sort of had to concentrate. I think he had a moment, like, right, I'm going to do this. Then he sort of said, let me compose myself, because the goalkeeper started whacking the crossbar and doing all kind of things. So he had to think about it, took his time, and then placed it nice and cool. And it definitely was a penalty in my eyes as well. Even though
foul on Xerxes, there was no argument, I don't think.
Yeah, but even though I think Xerxes, what would he have done if there wasn't a foul? He put himself in a position where he could have got shot off initially, but I think by cutting back or getting in front of the guy like that, what are you going to do next? Because the goalkeeper's in your face, you might have missed that chance there, you know? So I think Xerxes should have buried that first time and it wouldn't have been an argument about a penalty.
Ahmad did something similar, didn't he? Like, I know he was offside, but he...
Oh, yeah,
sort of,
that's right.
Like, we lack a killer, innit?
Yeah.
All right.
They're overcomplicating everything.
Killers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just victims.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's upset. I mean, we've had some time to breathe.
I'm not, but I'm not upset. Do you know what? I expected, from when he went to a back three, I expected it to be paid. Just because of the players that we had. I wasn't expecting Maguire to come back into the fold, so I'm glad he's back in because he can play it. I'm not even. I'm vexed in the game, but we have to suffer. He said we're gonna have. I look at Chelsea. Chelsea suffered.
Yeah.
When they had to do it. Arsenal have suffered, and then we expect what? The new manager to come in and we're suffering. Oh, we're losing a couple of games. We're gonna suffer big time. So I'm expecting it. I wouldn't like to think I'm gonna come on the show and be effing and blinding like I was when what's his face, man? 10 Pence was in charge. You know, so I'm hoping I'm gonna be rash. Don't get me wrong, if come next season, we're in the same. I don't see us getting relegated. So as far I don't care. My highest position I expect us to get is 10th. That's my maximum. Anything between that and 17th, we're already getting killed banter-wise. So it's not going to make it any worse for me. I'm not going to hate the players any more than I hate them already. I can't. You know, so it's just whether or not it softens before the end of the season. So I'm expecting it's going to get so much worse. I mean, ideally, it would stink the whole season, and then we get to the final, and then we do what we did with Man City last season. That would be great. I don't see that happening. But I said already, the Euro is our best opportunity. It's not going to change for me because I don't think we've got the players to play at the Premier League pace.
All right. So, Mr. B, you said you can't hate the players any more than you do, at the moment. Talk to me about goal number 3.
Oh, that. Well done. I tell you, he has got to go, man. He has got to go. People say, "Oh, he's better." De Gea. People need to remember what De Gea was doing the season before we got rid of him. He was doing the same thing Onana was doing. So I don't want to hear nothing about bringing back. We need a completely
Don't
new goalie.
compare the Gea to Onana, please. I'm not taking it, Mr. B. I'm
Dora,
not taking it.
That last season, he may as well have
One
been playing
out
with his
of
eyes
10
closed.
where he was good. Come on.
Ay.
I'm not taking it, Mr.
How much
B.
mistakes did he make? How much mistakes did he make to everybody? He's got to go.
I know this stat.
He's got to go. He's got to go.
Go on, BT. Go on.
De Gea in his entire United career made 17 errors leading to a goal. Onana,
How much did Onana do?
He has done 10 in 2 seasons.
So he's still got 7. He might not make any more.
Oh
He
yeah.
might not
Oh,
make any more. Well, those
I'm not
17 the
taking
last season for De Gea. De Gea made beer mistakes. He cost
No,
us
that's
so
his
much games.
entire career. That's
No, I
like
know.
10 years.
Yeah, well, look, it is what it is. He made
Well,
15
no,
of them.
no,
He made
he-
15 of them at Old Trafford the season he left. He was shocking,
Okay.
and everybody expected.
Last
needed-
season he
had
was
to go.
poor. He regressed. But
Thank you.
comparing
That's
him
fine.
overall, before he was great. Come on.
No,
He
Yeah,
had
the
his
point
faults,
is-
before we
but
were
he
all
was
great. But
He
when he
had
gets
faults,
old,
but
when he
was
gets to the
great.
level
Come
where he
on.
needs to be replaced, he was shit.
Yeah, that's where we agree, Mr. B, is that
Thank
De
you.
Gea needed to go, but
Dora wanted him to
Onana-
stay.
sorry?
Dora wanted him to stay.
No.
Well,
I didn't
no,
want him
but
to stay.
it's just I'm not a huge fan of De Gea, but you are not comparing him to Onana and what
No,
Onana's
I'm saying the last
Exactly.
season,
Yes.
last season that he played. I'm just saying the last season that De Gea played for us, he was shit.
Yeah.
Before that,
And
I don't
all
have any problem.
seasons that Onana has played, he's been
He's got to go. As I
atrocious.
said, he has to go, and that's my point. He has to
Does
go.
anyone want
So
to
we
keep
agree.
Onana?
No. You want to keep
You
him?
want to keep
Yabba?
him, Yabba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just to
please.
see what else he can get up to.
They made a big error today, big boo boo, and that's on him. That's on him. He's made errors before. But,
You know, your heart is so full of love.
I still
swear,
think
you are
I still
such
think
a
he's
lovely, wonderful
he's
guy.
a good keeper. You don't go from being like ranked in the Ballon d'Or ratings the season before he arrived at the club at Inter Milan. Inter Milan played a similar system, back 5. They were good defensively. They got to the final. He was a good goalkeeper for them. He's a bit erratic, but he's been exposed. He's not the only one. You have to remember that he's not the only one. And you can fling in Beyonde or whatever, but the same thing will happen to him. So can you name a goalkeeper out there right now in the Premier League? Even Edison, Allison, then they're waning. They're not very good.
Emi Martinez.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks good, to be fair.
Yeah, but if we talk about football players basics. As a goalkeeper, is that a save that you expect the goalie on the side? If you fell over on the pitch like Onana did, with your arms out, you would expect to make that save, yes or no?
I would get ripped badly.
If you did it, if you messed up, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right. You pay to do what you would have done. Onana gets paid to do what he did. Yeah. Professional, every day he's out there falling on the floor with his hands. They're not wearing the shitty gloves that we wear that will break your finger. They're wearing gloves that don't bend. They've got all of the grip and all of this super sticky stuff on it, and he still can't make the save. And you're not going to blame Onana.
That was bad. That was bad.
Yeah, but Onana, he's not even Butterfingers. He's made out of butter, and I hope Casemiro and Luke Shaw eat him. Like,
but you guys, remember, look, like I said, we're always so fickle on this show, and fans are so fickle. In a few weeks' time, you'll be saying how good he is again. Look,
have we ever said that?
Last season we were joking about it. It was a big joke, and then he started playing well this season, and people said, "Okay, he's turning it around." And one bad game, one bad performance, he can come back from this. He can.
That's an all-time error.
Don't tell me Schmeichel weren't making mistakes. Or goalkeepers always make mistakes, and it's just highlighted worse. That was poor today. I just think to be saying like get him out of the club, we sound like Arsenal fans who want to get Havertz out just because he didn't score a goal or something. It's just ridiculous. Come on, we're stuck with him. While he's at the club, let's stick with him. Don't be talking about getting him out, because then what sort of confidence are you going to give the guy from now? Back him.
You ain't watching our show.
Huh?
You ain't watching our show.
Well, I think we should back him. You got to back people.
I'll back him off the canal into the the thing is, yeah, but I don't disagree with what you're saying in principle. Like we should support our players and things like that, but there also has to be a limit, and the errors that he is producing. Like, you love Maguire. Do you remember Maguire didn't let the ball go for Onana and he just booted it out because he didn't trust him? Yeah. Johnny Evans has been doing that every game he's played with Onana. I think that unfortunately he's become a bit of a Jonah, where like he's just bad. He's bad juju at the moment, and it doesn't really matter what he can do. He can't.
I'm sure he knows
really
more
come
about
back
Juju
from
than
it.
you do.
There's chicken foot in
Look,
his
I
jar.
played Monkey Island too.
I reckon, who knows? There's speculation, but someone in his village has didn't get paid, and maybe they're cursing this guy. That was really, really unfortunate. Just look, I know it's bad, and I was cussing as well. But we need to back guys. We need to back our players as much as possible. This Maguire hate, this Nana hate, this Anthony hate. Why are they still at the club? You got to try and encourage them, because you're going to go to the ground and start booing them. You're trying to go, look at that guy.
Well, this leads us on to our final. Yeah, but this leads us on to our final point. What has the manager said?
Well, I've heard some quotes.
I tell you.
I love it.
Is that back in the team? Calling them probably the worst team in the history of Manchester United?
It's true. It's a fact.
We had a few of these. All right, hold on. Before we go any further, because I did star these on purpose, just to Here we go. We deserve better. Amarin with his petulant and boorish approach to the pressure. What next? Where was the other one? Here we go. Kieran is saying, I love what Amarin said. He doesn't hold back. V as well is saying he likes the honesty. Johnny Hill, Amarin calling the squad the worst United squad of all time. I agree, but the feeling in yours will sack him for his comments because they can't be bothered signing players for the system. Yeah, right. So those are the ones that we had. So if any more come in now, then we'll deal with those. So yeah, come on, let's go. Where were we?
I'm gonna say I'm not a fan of what he said about Rashford.
I think it's brilliant.
I don't, because I think it damages the value that we get from Rashford.
How much if we're getting shit for Rashford anyway?
I don't care. I think that it's really, really poor to say something about that, about an asset that we're trying to sell. And in the same way that I worried about Ten Hag's ability to manage a club of this size, I really don't like the fact that he said Rashford isn't playing because he makes us a worse team. Or in fact, shall I read out the quotes?
Yeah, read out the quotes. There's a couple. I've got 2 minutes. I'll be back 1 second.
Okay. So the first quote is, "We are the worst team maybe in the history of Manchester United. I know you want headlines, but I'm saying that because we have to acknowledge that and change it." That is clear. With me, it's clear because I'm not going to change the way I see the game. Very clear on that. The players are going to suffer. I'm sorry. The fans are going to suffer. I have one way of doing things. I know it's going to bring results, but we have to suffer these moments. I think it's very clear for everyone what we are going to do. And on Rashford, he said, I'm not going to put a player on that I don't believe is best for the team. This reeks of Ten Hag to me.
Dora?
What did you say the last thing? That reeks?
It reeks of Ten Hag to me that he is part of this team. He's part of the worst, Manchester United team in history, and he's got to put himself in with those players for me.
I mean, maybe I think there is a reason why everyone, says some things, especially after this. I mean, this was an important game, right? We had 3, I would say, results that were positive against Liverpool, Arsenal, and Southampton, which were supposed to be, these sparks that are going to, kickstart our season finally. And, even Amorim said after the Southampton game, okay, cool, Amadiallo scored, but, we need to showcase throughout the whole game that we are going to be good. I think that he's just frustrated. I think that he understands that his squad this isn't, first of all, his squad of players. These are not the players that he wants in his squad. He needs to wait for the club to sell and buy, which is very tough for Manchester United at this moment in time, because we are obviously in debt, and we have problems with financial fair play and everything else, and and now he is getting pressured by everyone, by the media, which is usual for Manchester United, by the fans who want results. Of course, we want the results, and from the club, right? They want him to produce, and he cannot do it with some of these players. So I think he's just frustrated. I think that him saying that he doesn't always. I know that his thing is after the game I think he needs to cool off or something before when he loses or something, so that he doesn't throw pelters at the players. He doesn't want the angry emotions to take over his post match talk and everything else. But I mean, I think he's just frustrated. I think he's just frustrated. It's 19th of January. United aren't doing anything to strengthen the team. We can't even sell the players that I mean, if Rashford doesn't go this winter, we expect him to be available in the squad. And I know, Mr. DDB, that you're saying that, but club would want him to play because he is earning insane amounts of money. He is going to be in this squad if he doesn't get sold, and he's going to, and then we are going to try to sell him in the summer.
So what does that do to Amarin?
He needs to. Yes, he needs to play. He needs to play a player because his squad is thin. He needs to play a player whom he doesn't like.
But yeah, exactly. So then he's publicly going back on. He's going to look like an arsehole.
But I mean, I think with this, he kind of looks like an arsehole, I would say, to some of you guys in the chat. Like, he cannot control what other people think. He's going to look like an asshole, and if he looks like or how do you Brits say, arsehole, he's going to look like an arsehole. His post-match interview. I mean, I like that when coaches aren't lying, when they are. I don't like Ten Hag being delusional after the games, but I think this was a bit harsh from him, in my opinion. Like, he needs to. I know he's frustrated, but he needs to chill a bit.
Okay.
With those comments.
Do you think that this could have been a warning to the board in regards to he needs players?
Absolutely,
but don't forget they pulled him out of his nice cozy house in Portugal to come live in Manchester in the rain, and they're not even giving him the players to work with. I mean, I'm not being funny. If he decided to walk in June or whenever the season's finished, then he would have every right, and I wouldn't knock him because he hasn't been backed. He hasn't been backed at all in nothing.
Yeah, but first of all, he didn't have to. Like, he wasn't. He didn't have a gun to his head, and
they said to him, yes. They went to him. He said, "Can he have the job at the end of the season?" And they said, "No, they want him now." So when he came to the press conference, he said, "You can't turn down Manchester United." So it was them that made him come.
You can need to come.
Yeah, but he's not calling out. He's not calling out the board, is he? Like, what he's doing is he's like green lighting abuse towards the players, and that is what he should be saying in the changing room. In my opinion, he should be doing a Ten Hag then and lying when we all know that the squad is shit. Yes.
Ah, man, I'm glad he's being honest, man. Fuck that.
So what do you think?
Think about the squad, right? How are they going to react to it? What this
they know this
shit,
like. But they know this bath time. They know this shit bath time. What is he?
Yeah, but also their mentality.
But why is he pretending? These fucking Gen X or Gen Z or whatever these fucking little pussies are. No, take a little bit of criticism, grow some fucking balls, and step up. You're playing for Manchester United, for fuck's sake, bath time. You understand?
Yeah, but they can't handle it, Mr. B.
So fuck them off.
Yeah, but
get them out.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's okay with Rashford. Okay, I don't think it is. I think you're damaging the value of him. But we've got to get to the end of the season.
So he's got a mollycolly them. He's got a mollycolly them and boost their egos. He's tried all of that and they've been pathetic.
His job is to get the best out of the squad. I don't think that this is getting the best out of the squad. I think that he's kind of he's greenlit abuse to the players by calling them probably the worst team in Manchester United history.
Do you know this record is like the worst
1890.
So they're not the worst. They're not the worst in history. When was the club
No, I'm
formed?
not. Look, I'm not. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying what he said is wrong. I'm saying that by doing it in public, he's opened up a can of worms to a bunch of soft, mentally weak players, and it's going to damage our prospects for the rest of the season. He is the manager of Manchester United, and he should be getting the best out of the players. I don't think that this is getting the best out of the players. I agree with everything that he said, but I don't think it should be said in public, and it makes me worry about his ability to manage the football club.
I think the quotes are good. What he said, look, the headline would be, you could say, "Oh, Amarin roast the players," or "Amarin roast Rashford." If you look at the wording, the way he said it, I think it's very sensible the way he said things. Bottom line is this: we're down in 30 or I don't even know 14th, 15th. We're playing poorly. We haven't won since this game with Southampton. We rarely win games. We got beat 3-0 by Spurs, 3-0 at home, 3-0 at home by Liverpool. We conceded 3 against Brighton today, and all the other stupid results that we've had recently. What you have to do is be honest with the fans. The fans like that. You have to say that, because Mourinho would do it. Fergie would do it in a way to say this is not good enough. We got standards. We're not meeting those standards. So don't lie about it. You're only going to wind up fans if you start saying, "Oh, make excuse the ball." Look at Arteta the other day talking about the ball for the Coca-Cola Cup or the League Cup. Or talk about the grass being too long. Or talk about the goals. Or talk about the fans, or the grey shirt, like Fergie said against Southampton. You see what I'm saying? That's excuses. This is what I love, is because you're looking in the journalists right in the eye, and the whole world, and the media, and the players as well will have to gulp that one up and say, you guys are the shittest I've seen in this in the history. And they have to go home and say, rah, that's us they're talking about here. We need to come back and represent it. And then you'll see who's got something about them. I understand you've done psychology, and you will come with some sort of psychological quote.
Yeah, and his evidence.
Yeah,
what
evidence,
ball.
whatever, to say what it does, whatever. For me, it's like a parent and a child. And at the moment, there's 3 levels of communication: parent, adult, and child. And at the moment, because the players act like children, they have to be spoken to, not as adults, that's not working, but as a parent. And you tell them off and say, this is the poorest you've ever done, and this is the only communication that's going to work. Parent to child.
Yeah.
I think we're going to disagree.
Yeah, I think actually that I want to wrap it up, if that's all right.
He's so stupid.
Yeah.
Can I just say this? Can I say I missed a bit, but Dora, I don't know what you think about this, but I'd also say big up to Brighton, man. They sell players, they bring players in. Their energy, no. True say, they were on it physically. They were on it. They were running. Look at the goals they scored, like the intensity. That's what I want to see from us every week, battling.
I like the labour,
especially
when all their players are doing it. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, but
Priest.
if you got into a street fight, and the man beat you up, would you congratulate him?
If your missus cheated on you, would you be praising the guy that she cheated on you with? He was direct, he was powerful.
If I knew the details of how good he was in bed, I would say, well, I can't. If I knew the details, I wouldn't ask. Obviously, that break my heart. But my whole point is, Brighton were brilliant today, but as a team, as a unit, they're doing something that's sustaining them in the league. Congratulations. I only saw Ahmad today, who was tracking back and doing lots of work and driving at players, dribbling at players, running at players, doing all, and even for the penalty, he's the one who made the penalty happen. But once again, putting the pressure on and working his socks off. I really like that. I just wish more people on the pitch had that desire and that hunger to play well for Manchester United Football Club. People are making an easy living out there, and it's not right. That's why they have to be called out. We can call them out. It's got no impact. But when a manager does it like he did today, I think that needs to be applauded.
All right. We'll be back again tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be able to ask Mr. B and Yabba their thoughts on Dennis Law, as we haven't heard their opinions on that great player. Let's lack a notch it, lads. You start, Mr. B.
Lack a notch from me.
It's a lack of notch from me.
Lack of notch from me.
And it's a lack of notch.